Throughout my weight loss journey, I've learned so much, and in this video I'm going to be sharing with you guys 5 things I stopped doing in order to lose 50 pounds. So no more talking, we're going to get straight to the point. So without further ado, let's jump right into this video. The first thing I stopped doing was over exercising. I used to do intense exercises and workouts every single day, and that caused me to go through severe burnout. On top of it just being bad for my body in general and cause injury, I was literally burning out so bad to where I would go weeks without working out because I was working out so extreme every single day. And that just led me to fall back to old habits that weren't the best for me. So I had to really stop over exercising and stop straining my body. I thought that, over exercising meant faster results, when in fact that's actually the complete opposite. Over exercising spikes your cortisol, which is a belly fat hormone that will in turn signal your body to hold on to body fat, because you're in turn putting your body through stress. So you're putting your body in stress mode. So your body's just like, okay, I need to store onto anything I can get. So it's going to store onto all that fat, specifically belly fat. So a lot of us are trying to lose weight by overworking ourselves and doing intense stuff every single day, when that's actually working against us and not for us, especially when it comes to putting too much stress on your body. Soreness, super soreness, does not equal having a good workout. Yes, it's normal for your body to be sore after a certain workout, just because that's just your muscle is naturally going to be a little bit strained just in general working out. That's normal. But we understand the difference between just being sore and being sore to the point where we can't even move, or sore to the point where we're just exhausted. It's two different things, and we could just feel the difference. We know when we are overworking ourselves, and we understand when we are doing just the right amount of workouts that we're supposed to do. So instead, what I did is I started to focus on daily movements that are a little bit simple and low intensity and not strenuous on my body. So what I started to do is I did walking daily, and I did strength training 3 times a week. Even when I was strength training now, I don't do super duper heavy weights. I don't lift like hundreds of pounds. I literally use my dumbbell and I lift like 10, 20 pounds at a time. I do simple movements like squats, hip thrusts, lunges. The workouts that I post on my page are literally the workouts that I do. The workouts in my workout program specifically are the workouts that I do. Simple and straight to the point workouts, and it's so easy on my body. I'm not overworking myself. I'm not doing super intense stuff every single day. And it's honestly just so perfect for me, and I literally love it. I'm literally in such a better place mentally and physically now than when I was doing intense stuff every single day. So it really works in my favor both ways. And once I started doing that, the belly fat kind of just melted off. The body fat melted off altogether. And I really think it's because I balanced my cortisol hormone by, being easier on my body and actually giving myself balance, which in turn helped me lose the body fat, because my body was not in stress mode anymore. It was just kind of feeling free. It's like, okay, girl, it feels better. Like, this is how it's supposed to be. So always keep that in mind. Overworking yourself does not equal getting faster results, okay? It does not. It'll slow down your progress. The second bad habit that I had to break was skipping breakfast and instead eating something sugary in the morning. So I don't know if anybody else did this, but I used to skip breakfast, and I used to think, okay, so instead of me having an actual meal for breakfast, I'm just going to have a donut, or I'm just going to drink some soda or some coffee. And I thought, okay, it's something smaller and it's sugary, so it'll fill me up, and it'll fill me up until lunch, and I won't be eating anything super duper heavy in the morning. Wrong. I was so wrong. Because I wasn't getting enough nutrients in my body early on in the day, I wasn't getting any protein in, it was spiking my cortisol levels, it was spiking my blood sugar because I was consuming so much sugar, and it was overall just causing me to binge eat, because since yes, it is sugar, but it's also not enough to nutrients my body, so I wasn't even really feeling full. Within like an hour after eating it, I was still hungry. So that one donut, honestly speaking, was not filling me up for breakfast. That coffee was not filling me up for breakfast. So if you're that type of person where you feel like less is more, even if it's unhealthy, you are completely wrong. I was wrong too at that point. Less is not more. So instead, what I decided to do was I started to start my mornings off with protein, the right amount of protein. So I'm not saying that as soon as you wake up you have to eat protein. You don't have to. But the first meal of the day, you should be consuming protein within that. So what I decided to do was, in the morning, I did eggs with turkey bacon. That was my go-to. And maybe some Ezekiel bread on the side, like toasted Ezekiel bread with jelly. That was my go-to, and it got protein with the turkey bacon, and I got the protein in with the eggs. If you're not a morning person where it's hard for you to eat a heavy meal early on in the day, you could do yogurt with some protein powder in it. This is for my people who have like smaller appetites and it's harder for you to eat meals. But if you're a person where you need to consume meals in the morning like me, my go-to was eggs and turkey bacon. You could search up some other high protein meals that are good for you. Even if you wanted to have like a lunch type of meal for breakfast, like let's say you're like, you know what, I want to have salmon and veggies for breakfast. You could do that. I'm not knocking anybody for doing that. A lot of people don't realize that if you want, you could have dinner type of meals for breakfast. As long as it's protein, as long as it's clean, as long as you're getting nutrients in and it's not processed, you could do whatever you want. You could do your routine however you want to do it, but just start your day off with protein. This is going to help you stay full throughout the day, and eating protein in the morning will help you not want to snack until it's time for lunch. By the time it's lunchtime and you're hungry again, it's time for a meal. So you're not going to be really craving snacks in between, and if you do crave a snack in between, you're not going to be craving too much of it. A lot of us crave snacks all the time because we're not eating enough whole foods filled with foods that is actually going to fuel our bodies instead of just taking from our bodies. Every time you're eating something that has sugary stuff in it or that lacks, you're really taking away from your body. But whenever you're eating clean meals, healthy meals, consumed with protein, veggies, and carbs, you're literally fueling your body. So look at it like that when you're thinking about it. The next thing I had to stop doing is I had to stop consuming liquid calories. Your body does not register liquid calories the way it would register regular calories. For example, you could drink so much sugar and so many calories in a drink and not be super full. You could eat food that has a lot of calories in it and you'll get full off of that. But with the drink, it might not fill you up like that, which in turn leads you to still be hungry. So you consume so much sugar in that soda or that juice, but you're still hungry afterwards to just snack on stuff. So that does not do anything for you except fill you up with a bunch of sugar, because drinking it, you'll consume more sugar than if you were eating it, honestly speaking, because it's not really filling you up. So in your head, you're like, okay, I'm just getting hydrated. No, you're drinking a bunch of sugar, you know? In my opinion, the only thing that's hydrating is water. Period. Simple like that. And I had to learn that with age. The only thing that's really going to hydrate me is water. A lot of the times when you're craving sodas or you're craving juices, you're really just hungry most of the time. If you're dehydrated, you need to drink some water, period. But if you're just hungry and you're always craving sodas or juices, it might be because, like I said before, you're not consuming enough nutrients-filled meals. And also speaking, you probably are just craving some fruit as well, or something like juicy or sweet. There's other ways you can consume that into your diet. One drink can literally cancel out a whole calorie deficit for the day. What I mean by that is, I mean, one drink could contain 900 calories, and that just canceled out your whole calorie deficit that you're trying to be in. So what I started to do instead of the liquid calories is I started to add in juicier type of snacks in my diet. Really saying is fruit. So I realized when I was craving like sodas and juices, I was probably craving fruit. And also I noticed that if I was craving sodas and juices, I'm probably craving water because I'm dehydrated. So I started to do water. If I wanted flavor with my water, I would do sparkling waters. I would add lemon to my waters, but I had to really just get out my head of always craving sodas and juices. And I understand that, like, of course, there's no way you can have water taste exactly like a soda. No matter how sparkly or carbonated it is, it's not going to taste exactly like soda. But at some point, we kind of just have to suck it up at that point and be like, you know what? Soda is really just not good for me. Something I like to do to replace my juices with is I make my own juices at home. So I make pretty much smoothies. What I'm saying is I use coconut water. I love pineapple flavored coconut water. I use mangoes. I use pineapples with that, and I blend it up together. You could do whatever fruit of your choice, whatever you want to use with your smoothie, you can do that and just make a perfect smoothie. And it tastes a lot better than juice to me. It's a lot more hydrating, and it doesn't taste too sugary or too sweet, but it still gives me a sense of like getting some type of sugar in, because it's like a natural sugar from fruit. So that's like my alternative that I started to like. Of course, in the beginning, it's not going to be easy transitioning straight from, you know, soda to water and healthier juices like smoothies at homemade. But eventually, as you start to be more disciplined and get the hang of it, you're going to not even crave sodas or juices anymore. So you really have to just be a little bit disciplined with yourself and say, okay, I'm doing this because liquid calories is a no-go. If I want to lose this weight, especially belly fat, I really need to cut out the liquid calories, the sodas and the sugars, the lattes, all of that. So really just try your best with that one. It's not as easy as it seems in the beginning, but slowly as you work your way up, you will get to it. Promise you, I promise you will. The next bad habit I had to stop was I had to stop late night snacking. And you know why I was late night snacking? I said this in the beginning of this video, but I used to be too restricted throughout the day, which just caused me to crash out in the end of the night because I was literally going hours without eating. So I made it to where I'm like, okay, I want to be full at least 2 hours before bed. So I'm not eating right before I go to sleep. You get what I mean? I want to give my body 2 hours before bed to at least digest the food, because when you eat a lot right before bed. For one, it's probably junk food and it's not the best for you, but for two, mindless snacking at the end of the day right before bed makes your digestion and your body tract just have to work overtime, which will in turn lead to bad sleep, and bad sleep will spike your cortisol levels. Bad sleep means less time for the hormone that helps us in our sleep, which means a harder time getting that belly fat and just overall body fat off of our body. So we want to make sure that we are getting good sleep. You know how they always say like stress and just not getting enough sleep could really affect belly fat? This is one of the reasons why. It all has to do with the cortisol, which is a belly fat hormone that will be spiked. You have to make sure you're getting good sleep. You have to make sure that your body is not in stress mode. And like I just said, overworking yourself as well as eating too much before bed could put your body in stress mode. I'm not saying starve yourself. If you have to eat dinner late at night, don't be hard on yourself, but I would say avoid fasting too much throughout the day to where you're just so hungry late at night and just binging on a bunch of stuff, because that's not really giving your body enough time to digest your food. So really make sure you're balancing yourself out. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, you can have snacks in between, but really balance yourself out and create a good routine for yourself, because not just for like the outside appearance of it, but for your inside also. You want to make sure your digestion is good. It's nothing worse than waking up with an upset stomach just because you ate really bad the night before. Give yourself time to really digest your food while you're up. Like all of that really matters and is important in the long run. And speaking of stress, that leads me into the last thing I did. I had to stop letting my stress build up without an outlet. Now, I've been like this since I was younger, and I really feel like that's why I always struggled with my weight a little bit, is because my outlet was overeating. I was so depressed and I had such bad anxiety to where I would just do nothing but eat and snack. That's all I knew. And I'm not saying like it's good to starve yourself, but you know when you're overeating, you're just stuffing your face just because, you know, it's an emotional eating thing. I understand that. And also not even just from the binge eating standpoint, but like how I said, stress can spike your cortisol levels. When you're under like a lot of stress and don't have an outlet, you're holding all of that in. So how can your body really do what it needs to do to get rid of the belly fat and get rid of the fat and help you lose weight if you're not letting your body actually release and focus on something else? Instead, your body's going to focus on storing all that fat because you're so stressed out. So ways that helped me was I got into journaling, I got into dancing, I got into writing, stuff like that. I got into watching movies, even just sitting down chilling watching movies can help. Taking naps can help. Drawing. Honestly speaking, I always tell people to have an outlet outside of working out too, but working out should be an outlet as well, because I always say it's great to get your body moving, especially if you're trying to go on a weight loss journey. That's one of the main things, working out along with eating healthy. So I always say, like, if you working out is an outlet for you, you should also have one more outlet, so that way you don't end up overworking out whenever you're stressed out or going through something. So instead, if you're going through something, you could work out, but also maybe journal, or work out and also maybe draw. So you're not putting all your eggs in one basket and then turning that into something that you're overdoing, because like I said, over exercising is bad for us too, you know. So always have more than just one outlet, just at least two, so that way you're not overdoing one of them. You get what I mean? And that's honestly all the habits that I had to break and all the new habits that I started to build in order to lose 50 pounds. And I also want to remind you guys that along this journey, it's going to be some ups and downs. It's not going to be perfect. As long as you're being consistent with yourself and kind to yourself and understanding that, yes, you might make some mistakes, but as long as you pick yourself back up and keep going, that's all that matters. It's normal to make mistakes. It's normal to not be perfect. Don't compare yourself to anybody else, because you don't know what that person's going through. You don't know. So it's really just be yourself within this journey and just do it for you. When you're doing it for you, it'll take away all the extra stress and all the extra worry, because you're not doing this to be accepted by other people. You're really doing this to be a healthier version of yourself. And you're just doing it for yourself altogether. If you're serious about transforming your body and want a step-by-step plan that actually works, check out my workout programs designed to help you lose fat, build muscle, and just overall feel comfortable and confident in yourself. The link is below in the description, so go ahead and check that out. I have a bunch of different workout programs that I feel like you would love. So please do not forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and check those workout programs out. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye.